Hey everyone, Cherie here. Today I'm going to be creating a layout using the January sketch over at Felicity Jane. I've actually designed the sketch this month, which was lots of fun. I'll be using the beautiful January Krystal Kit for this one, and I've got a couple of other things thrown in as well, but I do have two of the pattern papers already cut to size. I'm basically just following the layout of this sketch, and I'm making my two columns 3 inches wide. So I basically went with my photo being this main photo here on the sketch, which is a 3 by 4 inch photo. So that's what I've based all my sizing on. So I've got a journaling card from the Krystal journaling card pack. I've cut this piece of the green polka dot paper to 3 by 4 inches, and I've got this one here, the beautiful floral paper, which is 3 by just a fraction over 2 inches. So that's the measurements of those. My other two smaller photos are roughly 3 inches square. So they're my photos, and for my embellishments I've got the tag from the die cuts pack with the Krystal Kit, lots of other little bits and pieces here. I've got the floral piece. I love this house, so I really want to use that on there. I've got the little everyday life chipboard piece. I've got my title here. I'm going to call this one This Morning because it's just having a look at the top 3 things that were happening in our little world this particular morning, and they're just simple things, just hanging out at home, enjoying a nice quiet cup of tea, just everyone being here together, which is nice. My journaling has already been printed onto one of the journaling cards from the kit, and I did that by printing it out using Photoshop, laying my card over the top, making sure that border was made invisible, and then I ran it through my printer again. So they are my 3 things here on my journaling card. I've also got this piece here, which was a chipboard piece from the Harper kit, the chipboard tags they were called, and I do have this little scalloped piece which is going down the side here in the sketch. That is from the Cocoa kit, I think. I've also got the absolutely gorgeous crystal charms here. I definitely want to use one of these on the page today, and I do have the crystal stamp set as well. I'm thinking of using the Row of Hearts stamp from the Lindsay stamp set, and I do have the dies to cut that out as well, so I've got those there. I'm thinking with the 1, 2 and 3 on my journaling card, I might adhere one of these over the top, the little number stickers. These were from the Lola kit, the mini puffy alphabet stickers. So I've got lots of bits and pieces here, and I'm ready to make a start. So I'll pop you on fast forward and show you how I'm going to put this one together. Okay, so to start off with, I'm using my T-square ruler just to mark where the center of the page is, because I want both of my columns to run down the center of the page. So that's just going to help me line everything up properly. So I'm just working out my spacing, adding those square photos in, and then I've got another piece there, that floral piece of paper. Now before I go ahead and adhere these down into place, I am going to grab my sewing machine, and I'm going to add stitching to each of the patterned paper pieces and to the journaling cards as well. So I'll grab my sewing machine and do that, and I did also add stitching to that die cut tag as well. And you can see the journaling card there is done. So now that the stitching's done, I can go ahead and start adhering these into place. So I won't make you watch me do all of them, but I am using those dots that I marked earlier as a guide as to where to place them. So they're all now adhered into place. I'm going to add this gingham tag. I just added a large piece of twine to the whole of the tag, and I really do want that to hang down the page. I love the texture that twine adds to any project. So I've got that large die cut floral that I want to add to the main photo, but on the sketch is these 2 little areas of messy stitching. So I'm going to grab my machine and go ahead and do that now. So for that, I'm just going to go backwards and forwards in the one spot to make that little messy stitching, and I'll add that to the side of the tag as well. So that's done. I'm going to add that floral die cut piece to the side of my main photo, and then I've got this little banner die cut too that I'm going to add across the bottom of the photo. For that I'm going to use some foam squares just to add some nice dimension to this part of the page. So just adding those to the back, and then I can adhere that on. And I love that this little banner piece is the perfect width to go across the photo. Alright, so now that that's done, I am going to create a couple of little embellishment clusters. The first one is using this chipboard tag from the Harper kit. These tags are still available in the shop. I'm going to just tie some twine onto the top of that. I'll trim off the ends, and then that's going to be the first part of the cluster at the bottom of that first column. So that's going on the side of that journaling card, just hanging over the edge. And then at the top of the page I'm going to do another little cluster featuring that gorgeous house die cut. I also have this little scalloped piece. I thought it was from the Cocoa kit, but it's actually from the Taylor kit. There were 5 scalloped pieces in that kit, and I love this black gingham one. So that's gone onto the side there. I've now got the house going onto the page, and I'm using that chipboard piece to layer onto the left side of that. Okay, so that's on there. I've got another little chipboard heart that I'm just going to add above that one. And then to finish off this little cluster, I'm using one of those beautiful gold charms from the Krystal kit. So that's just layered onto the bottom there. Next up, I'm going to add my title to the side of this second column. And I'll use my tweezers to do that. I just find it's a lot easier to get things lined up using the tweezers. So I'll go ahead and add the whole title there, and I did grab a little heart puffy sticker from one of the older kits called Megan, and I've just added that in between the 2 words there. So that is now on the page. I'm going to add my 1, 2 and 3 puffy stickers from the Lola kit, just going down my journaling card there. And I could have left it with just the printed numbers, but I like that it's just adding more texture to the page by using those puffy numbers. So next up I'm doing a little bit of stamping with the Krystal stamp set and the Lindsay stamp set. I do have that Simple Stuff stamped up the top there. I don't end up using that one, but I do use the This Made Me Smile Today, and it has a little separate arrow, which is great because you can decide which direction you want that arrow to be pointing. I do also stamp up this Around the House stamp, which I absolutely love, but I don't end up using that one either. I'll save that one for another project. Next up, I'm stamping the Row of Hearts from the Lindsay stamp set, which stamps up perfectly. Really happy with that. And I'm going to use the die to cut that out. Instead of having to fussy cut all those little hearts, this makes it super easy. So I'm just using some washi to secure my die into place, and then I'll take it over to my die cutting machine. I use a Big Shot, and quick and easy. I love how it cuts that out so perfectly. Give you a closer look at that. Nice little white border around the edge there, and I'm cutting the rest out by hand. I did punch out the Around the House stamp, which works with a 1-inch punch. You can see it there. I play around with the placement of that, but I don't end up adding it on. Alright, so I'm just trimming up this other little piece down the bottom. I cut it into that arrow shape, so it's pointing towards that photo at the bottom right. To add that onto the page, because I've got the chipboard tag there, I need to add some foam dots just to the end of this stamped piece so it sits up off the page. So that's gone on to the chipboard tag there. I've got this puffy bow sticker from the Tory kit, just adding that to the side. Okay, so now I'm deciding what else to do. I need to secure my twine into place. I'm going to use my tiny attacher, just add a staple at the top there, leave the twine a little bit slack, and then another staple at the bottom to secure it. Just trim off those ends. And now I'm going to add that row of hearts. I am using some foam dots behind it just to lift it up off the page and add some more dimension. So that's just going to the left side of the tag. So this is where I'm playing around with that Around the House piece, and I decide it's just not not fitting onto this page, so I will save that and use it on another project. Just adding the date to the bottom of my journaling card, and I decided to add a couple of little Tory flexible epoxy dots onto that little chipboard tag, just to add something extra, just to finish that little bit off. Okay, so you'll see in a moment, I'll give you a closer look. I did end up adding a little piece of twine to that gold charm. Love how that looks. You can see that there. So you can get a closer look at all the details here with the stitching and those puffy stickers, little embellishment clusters there. I'm really happy with how this has turned out, and it was so quick and easy using the sketch. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how I put this one together. Be sure to check out the Felicity Jane blog and see what the other creative team members have come up with. I'll leave a link down below for you, and let me know if you've got any questions. I'll be back again really soon to share another project with you. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Bye for now.